What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you the draft profile of Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, as we inch closer and closer to April's draft, we got another draft profile to break down for you guys. This time, star cornerback out of LSU DBU, Derek Stingley Jr. Derek Stingley has been one of the most notable corners over the last few seasons, not only for, what he's been able to do on the field, but he's made some notable headlines off the field as being a star type of player. He's got that appearance on him, and now he's heading into the NFL. Nick, Derek Stingley stands at 6'1" with 195 pounds of pure muscle. This guy is the #1 PFF ranked cornerback in this draft class. And Nick, you have your pro comp set at J.C. Jackson. For me, he is Jalen Ramsey with a little bit of an injury concern, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The career stats, he played 3 years at LSU, 25 total games, which is not very many for 3 years, 73 tackles, 6 interceptions, 20 passes defensed, and 2 forced fumbles. It should be noted, though, that those 6 interceptions all came in his freshman season at LSU. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about the strengths and weaknesses of Derek Stingley Jr.?
Derek Stingley is an incredible athlete. He's actually going to be the third Stingley in a row to make it to the NFL, and he's the best one yet. With Derek Stingley being the size he is, he's an incredible matchup against wide receivers, and in college, he was an elite lockdown corner with incredible man coverage ability. This guy just clings to your hip, and it doesn't matter what kind of moves you're going to put on him. He's going to stay with you stride for stride and be there for the pass breakup, or with his instinctive and fast ability, he's going to let his ball skills do the work. He will go and snag anything in his radius. This guy has incredible ability when it comes to catching the ball. That's why my pro comp for him is J.C. Jackson. The way he's able to just effortlessly go up and grab the ball in incredible situations. Derek Stingley is the real deal in man coverage. But when we look at the weaknesses, as you mentioned, he's huge boom bust potential because of those injuries. In his sophomore season, he only played 7 games, and then in his junior year, his final season, only 3. He left with a season-ending surgery on his foot that put him out. He had multiple injuries during that sophomore campaign that limited him there. I just don't know if we can really count on Derek Stingley to live up to his full potential if he is consistently out with injuries. Reminds me a lot of Caleb Farley from last year, and as we saw, Caleb Farley was one of the top corners entering the draft, but as time got closer towards that draft date, we saw him falling down and down. I think Derek Stingley could be the name to fall down the draft board as we get closer to draft day. He's the one to watch out for. He could be a big pickup for someone in the second half of the first round.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think that it is a big question mark. You talked about Caleb Farley, but another name to look out for would be Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett had every possibility, every skill set you want in a cornerback. He just can't stay healthy. And now with his second team in San Francisco, he's starting to find his groove, but still cannot stay healthy through an entire season. So definitely something teams need to look out for. They need to really get the medical evaluation done on him during the combine this year and really figure out what, if any, of these injuries will continue to haunt him throughout his NFL career. All right, when we take a look at the potential teams, though, I want to take a look at some of the teams early on in the draft. Starting off with the New York Jets, I believe that the New York Jets deeply and utterly need a lockdown #1 corner. They haven't had one since Darrelle Revis left town, and now they need to get one in Derek Stingley Jr. It may be a high price to pay for somebody who has injury concerns, but whether you're picking at number 4 or if you're picking at number 10, it doesn't matter. The New York Jets need a guy like this, and Derek Stingley would help solidify Robert Saleh's defense. I fully believe that the Jets could really use Stingley.
Another potential team for Derek Stingley, the New York Giants. The Giants struggled with their secondary last season. James Bradbury did not play up to expectations, and it looks like he might be on the outs, which definitely puts the Giants in line to go draft one of these top corners. And with 2 top 10 picks, Derek Stingley is potentially their guy, a guy that they can build around. After just signing Wink Martindale to be the defensive coordinator for the Giants, you saw what he did with Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. He can do incredible things with Derek Stingley.
Absolutely. Another team that we should be on the lookout for would be the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are one of those teams that desperately need to gain as much coverage on the back end as humanly possible. They answered the call with AJ Terrell a couple drafts ago. Now it is all about getting his counterpart, another guy that can lock down the field, because when you take a look at the wide receivers that are in their division, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, you have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, you have Michael Thomas and whoever else decides to be wide receiver for the Saints next year. There are a lot of top-end talent receivers, and AJ Terrell cannot do it himself. He needs somebody to run and gun with him, and I believe that Derek Stingley could really help out the back end of this defense for the Atlanta Falcons.
And last but not least, the Minnesota Vikings. We saw that defense last season, absolutely abysmal. Pat Pete was somehow their best corner, and we know that he is just a glimpse of what he used to be. This secondary is so poor, and Derek Stingley can take them a long way. Derek Stingley's skill sets coincide exactly with how they love to run their defense. Heavy pass rush, strong man coverage ability. I think it's a perfect fit.
Well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below which team you think is the perfect fit for Derek Stingley. Let us know. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.